All right, so now we're going to go ahead and cover the changes that happened in the September points update for Rebels. Will's going to take the wheel on this one and guide us through this adventure. For the Rebellion!
For the Rebellion! We're going to start with, at the top here, with Hera.
Wait. Before you start, Dion, can you move the Y-Wing thing out so that people can see the points?
I was adjusting as he was speaking.
He's got it. All right. As Dion gets it into place, we are looking at Harrison Doula as our first points change. Came out at 55, now it's 48, which is, spoiler alert, going to match her A-Wing cost. So now both of them, her in the A-Wing and the B-Wing, are going to be the same 48 points. Remember, Hera can basically give her token to somebody else while they're attacking or defending. I'm probably sick of seeing Hera, even though I was flying a lot of Hera. So it'd be nice to see her in the B-Wing. Her and Gina Moonsong go way down in price. So does Netram Pollard, 5 points and 3 points respectively. Those B-Wings don't get extra mods. They're just more maneuverable or supportive, and that just doesn't compete with Braylon and 10. The B-Wings also, if we scroll all the way down while I'm talking about them, the Blade prototype goes down 1, where they get it to equip a gunner slot, and their configuration, the ASF-01 B-Wing, loses its 2-point cost to make it 0 as well. So that's actually still a decrease in 10 and Braylon, who like to use all those extra mods to double tap. So overall, big win for B-Wings there, and especially Hera and Gina. We see some small downticks in Nora and Ispasan in the arc, which is we've seen Nora the most. So hopefully we'll see more of her with that points decrease. As far as increases, though, actually very few increases for the Rebels. Zeb Aurelius in the attack shuttle went up to 33 points. He is one of the cheapest base 3-dice guns in the game. So, fair enough.
Super tangent here. One of my biggest memories for Zeb is when Marcel was flying double Ghost, and there was a game where he like K-turned Zeb out of a Ghost and won the game. Because I completely forgot that they could even be ejected, and he made me really sad. Anyway,
Zeb, one of the most played cards in the end of first edition, and saw the least amount of board time. Think about that. Most equipped, least amount of board time. Anyways, let's keep moving on to the Y-Wings, and here we start seeing some interesting trades in the slots. We have, as far as points, we saw Nora, basically everybody but Dutch Vander here. Yep, including the generics, go down in price. Dutch Vander, still great at handing out locks, makes sense to me. But the main topic here is that they traded in their gunner slot for a missile slot. Probably better to represent the new wartime loadout coming in the Resistance pack. And we were talking a lot about how a lot of these gunners, the generic gunners, were weighted for small bases. And we really saw a lot of Y-Wings were the ones who were normally abusing these cheap or useful gunner slots. So out the window with them. Now that guy just has to run the turret, I guess. And they have missile slots. I'm actually going to bounce this one to you guys. What kind of missile are you bringing on a Rebel Y-Wing?
I would say ion missile, but they also have access to ion torpedoes, which for 2 points I think are just better.
Yeah.
Tracer.
Tracer.
Not bad.
Or that new little weird release at range 3 thingy.
They do have the bomb slot for it. Yeah, they can take the electro chaff.
Yeah, are you going to put Shaft on a Rebel ship? It does break all the locks on you, so you probably don't want to bring it with Dutch, but it could be maybe some defensive tech for Nora.
Or
I
help
don't
a
know.
friend.
I don't know. We will see. I'm very interested to the. Wait, can you belly run on clouds?
You cannot. It has to be asteroids only.
Oh, it is asteroids.
No, but it talks about obstacles, though, doesn't it? Hold up. Did we just solve it? Let me read belly run again.
The last sentence says, while you defend, if you are at range 0 of an obstacle, attack dice cannot be re-rolled.
There you go. Launch a, take your Y-wings with belly rub, launch a chaff cloud and fly onto it. I'm sure that will go great for you. Anyways, let's move on. We see a small downtick in a siege. Taketsu, I think that's how you say it.
Sigi Tuketu!
I said, I can never say it right. You say it great. Honestly, it's always been overshadowed by the Wardens and Miranda, and with Hera basically taking all the real estate for token shenanigans. Taketsu left by the wayside, so maybe a small downtick can get them on the table. But that's not as exciting as the E-Wings moving on to. We see Koran and Gavin Darklighter going down on points. 5 points for Gavin Darklighter, down to just 55. He's got that amazing ability to give everybody a hit to crit modifier when they're attacking a ship in his arc. Then we see the Knaves go down as well to 48. They also gained a tech slot, which makes sense because they're New Republic era. So in the timeline, makes sense that they would have that tech slot. So a big thing here, obviously pattern analyzer, prime thruster is great for these guys. But the Knaves now, you can fit 4 of them with fire control system. Pick up the long range lock, have it for the rest of the game. That's interesting. I don't know if 4 is enough to spam them. But the big thing is targeting synchronizer also went down. You can put these guys a lock on them, and you can actually, if they are shooting before or at the same time as E-Wings, you could let everybody use the lock with targeting synchronizer, and then get to use the lock yourself, or maybe just bring fire control system, and you don't even need to use your own lock.
The way that people have been using them with advanced sensors and elusive, so they can basically keep them alive longer. Because one of the things that they struggle with, even though they have 6 health and 3 agility, is just staying alive because they can't reposition and token up at the same turn. Pattern analyzer stayed at 5 points, and elusive went down by 1. So for 7 points, you can basically add pattern. You can K-turn or sloop with them, still get a token, and recharge your elusive, and just makes these things a lot more survivable. And then you can put whatever droid you want. You can still put like an R3 or something on there, so you can have multiple locks and
because
fire control system.
Advanced sensors went up to 13 points. So
now you're going pattern analyzer instead for 5, and that's just as good as advanced sensors.
Most of the time, but you can keep fire control system though for you can do 9 points for pattern analyzer, elusive, and fire control system, and then 12 points if you're trying to bring R3 Astromechs. Like, I would trade all 4 of those upgrades in, or I would not trade all 4 of those upgrades in for advanced sensors.
Or 1 advanced sensors, So these ships, I think, are going to get a lot of toys.
So one of the pilots in this that we haven't seen a lot of is Corrin, right? So like I've seen Corrin played 1 time, and he struggled from all the things that E-Wings normally struggle with.
I did nationals. I got top 4 at nationals with it, and you were there.
In
Canada.
Oh yeah. Well, I was paying attention to myself, to be completely honest. I was actually playing at that one. I was paying attention to myself.
That's fair.
I lost my train of thought.
We're gonna see Corrin potentially come back.
You said you haven't seen it.
Yes, haven't seen Corrin a lot. Pattern Analyzer I find to be very interesting, for sure. And you could actually end up getting a kind of a slippery a slippery Corin Horn, potentially, if you wanted to go more maneuverable, maybe you go and lean into the R4 astromech to be able to get more stress relieving options, and that leaves that you could still go elusive, though you lose some red maneuvers to charge it up, but still interesting.
So let me break down all the techs. We've talked about Pain and Analyzer. Prime thrusters. Does that give you any motivation to like keep your stress while you're flying around and still do boost and barrel roll?
I don't think so.
No. It's also initiative based too. So like on Corin and Gavin and the Rogues, it's still. Let's see. Let's take a look. It's still 8 points. Whew. All right. So what about advanced optics? So you essentially can re-roll and then change an automatic dice if you got a target lock and a focus. Does that have any value on an E-wing?
I think advanced optics could have a lot of value if hair is in the list.
Not wrong.
There you go.
Rebels are known for passing focus tokens.
Yep.
So even like Garvin slinging another I-4 Rogue Squadron of focus. Now it has 2 for advanced optics.
Yep.
Oh man! So now you got reroll, a focus, and a blank
We
conversion.
haven't had advanced optics in the faction
Wow.
that's really good at passing focus tokens around.
Yeah,
It has begun.
Yeah,
that's
getting your
4 mods if you have Gavin doing that.
It's like, what do I need pattern analyze for? I got Hera just flying around me, whatever.
Well, she's going to be harder to fit in there now. She's as much as one of these E-wings, as a note.
Or
she's as much
She's
as
the
a
same
knave.
cost as a knave, yes. Correctly so.
Start
but
doing,
yes.
Listen,
doing some math on that.
That's from a certain point of view. Maybe you were the person flying the Hera B-Wing. It got cheaper for you, all right?
Hey,
We
there
got to
you go,
call
Hera
out for that
B-Wing.
person, right?
There we go. I like that. There we go. Hera B-Wing and 3 names. I'm in. All right. And then the only other one we talked about, targeting synchronizers are very powerful, especially with R3 and the long range locks. I don't know what you pair that with. Missile Z's, Missile A's, other miscellaneous ships. Anyways, that's too good to pass up. And then the last one's automated targeting priority. How do you feel about an automated targeting priority knave? I mean, it seems counterintuitive.
Maybe. I always find it potentially tough for automated target priority to be utilized on something that's a high cost, and the higher cost it is, and the 3 dice shot means you probably want more say as to what you want to target and shoot at, but you can't deny the potential value that having those that calculate token available to you on offense if you're a knave later on, likely using your focus on defense to still be available, because it would have the same issue that E-wings have the same issue that defenders do. If the defender doesn't use its full throttle, it does a slow move, right? You end up having to use your focus one way or the other if you're low initiative, probably defensively, because you got 3 agility and you're likely going to use it. So what is your offense going to do back? So having fire control system maybe and ATP, get those locks early and say, all right, I'm going to use all my tokens defensively on offense, and if I shoot you and I miss at first, I'm going to start banking some calculates to make it more dangerous in the future.
Yeah, I worry about the lock and like, I don't know, just bloating them. I know it's only a 1 point upgrade, but I don't really want to fly an expensive knave, to be honest with you, when the rogues are just so much cheaper. I guess naves went down in price for a good reason. Rogues are superior in every way, except for blocking. Anyways, let's move on. That's just general facts about initiative.
That's how that works.
That's how that works. Anyway, so moving on to A-Wings, we saw Hera go up, as I talked about before. She's up to 48 points. Not quite Ahsoka level. Fair enough. Ahsoka's still the more superior A-Wing there with her 3 Force. Makes sense to me. We have Sabine Wren, who came out really strong at a 37 point cost, was the 3rd most expensive Rebel A-Wing for a while. I think the community doesn't value her I3, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a weird thing where like people just won't shoot at her at range 1 because she gets a defensive bonus. But like, I don't know. She's had issues ever since she came out, so it makes sense. I mean, now she's the same cost as Wedge, which is fair. Like now I'm considering her again. When she was more than Wedge and Shara and Jake, it really didn't make any sense. He just reached for the I4s. So that's interesting. I could see her and Wedge and, her and maybe Arvel, who's also an I3 A-Wing, could be flown together. That would be pretty cool. But let's keep it rolling here. Let's move on to Fen Rau. Goes down 3 points to just 47 in the Sheathipede, not the X-Wing. Why can't I slide this over, Dion? Slide this over and show me what Fen Rau originally cost. Thank you. 52 points. Okay, so he hasn't gone down that much since he came out. Still punished for his sins of first edition. But I did want to bounce this one to you guys because Hera's obviously the talk of Rebels at all times. Fen Rau's cheaper than Hera. What does that mean to you?
Fen Rau has less things that it can do. It can give you an action. That's good at Initiative 6. But Hera gives you the choice between 3 different tokens at Initiative Infinity. Basically, whenever you engage, whenever after you roll dice, and after you.
Fen Rau does shut
Hera.
No, I understand, but Fen Rau does have his own pilot ability that locks out other people spending tokens, which is almost as good as a jam.
Well, the difference is that Fen Rau, in order to take advantage of both abilities, will end up tokenless, where Hera will not. Yeah, because you to do a coordinate, you have to give up your own tokens, which makes Hera
normally
susceptible to die with 2 agility only. It's just, I don't think, it's good, but I don't think it's better than.
Would you
Hera
still fly Hera at 1 more point?
Yes.
What about you, Ryan? You in the same mindset? And Dion?
Yeah, if Hera was 1 more point, I'd still fly her. I mean, we still got to figure out what she feels like 6 more points now, but I'm pretty sure we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's the fact that she has the flexibility of not only being a flexible piece, because one of the things we always talk about, flexibility wins games. And the higher initiative, we say higher initiative, being able to make decisions is great, which is why initially Fen Rau at initiative 6 was so expensive. It was like, oh wow, initiative 6 coordinate, that's like really good. You don't want to have perfect information, and Hera comes in with like actually having perfect information, then I can make my decision. So it's while her scope is limited in it being tokens, and you can't give your
you can't coordinate a boost or something like Fen Rau can.
It's still really good. So I think Fen Rau might get a couple looks, but Hera clearly still better.
All right. Interesting. Maybe both Hera, B-Wing, and Fen Rau together. What do you think about that?
Half a list that's a lot of points to invest.
Coordinating. I hope you got Dash on the other side.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That's support, apparently.
Yeah, there you go. Anyways, all right, let's keep moving on then. I thought that was just an interesting to compare to Hera. Let's talk about X-Wings then. Luke Skywalker goes down a point to 61. That is interesting to me. I thought Luke Skywalker has always been great. So fantastic in my eyes. Thane Kyrell, he's an I5 where you can expose cards by spending mostly eyeball result. You can spend any result that's not a blank when you attack. He goes down a point. Makes sense. He's now cheaper than Biggs Darklighter at that point cost. Still good. He's still an I5 X-Wing. Can I say that Garvin Dreas staying the same cost is a boon for Garvin. He didn't get hurt by the by the Hera nerf.
Well, we know Hera's the source of all that, realistically.
Right.
Without
Sure.
Hera, Garvin's fine where he was.
Sure. Well, maybe we'll see B-Wing and X-Wing Garvin hanging out a little bit more often now. All right, Dion already beat me to it. That's Kilby Sperado.
Colby
goes down
Serrato meta, let's go!
Yeah, he goes down 2 points, which is now going to allow him to essentially equip that R2 astromech, or excuse me, R4. Give him the hard 2 blues. He gets it for free now because he likes to use the S-Foil's focus linked boost, and then he gets to open his wings and attack at full value. So gets the droid for free. Great. That's fantastic. He's still cheaper. He's now cheaper than Garvin with the droid. So there's a lot of competition in this like mid-40s range. Between Biggs, Thane, Garvin, Kilby, and Jek, which I like to see. Lieben, Tenzan goes down 2 points. Nobody cares about evading on your X-Wing. So it's also Initiative 3 and kind of the same points cost. So nobody cares.
AMG would want us to point out that the art is cool, though. Just
I
want
like
to
the
say
art.
that.
Agreed. I like all the Star Wars Renegades, but Lieben's ability to perform a barrel roll or boost action into a red evade just doesn't. You know what? If you bring a 3-dice gun, I don't want to be boosting away evading. This is what it is.
What about Juke went down a point though?
Does she have a talent slot? I literally had to look this up.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Also, that is
I
a
guess.
51 point.
I3 juking ship. Cool. I'm out. All right. All right, let's keep it rolling here. We got 6 more factions to do. We got TIE Fighters all go down to points. TIE Fighters are terrible. Maybe we can see them on play. It's the worst chassis, in my opinion, across all abilities. Ezra Bridger's a steal at 26 points because he's got a force charge. Sabine has supernatural reflexes, being able to boost and barrel roll before she moves, and she's only 26 points. Zeb, who is better than an Academy pilot, has Initiative 2, I believe. I think they're all Initiative 2 for the most part, or him and Captain Rex are. He's Initiative 2 and has an ability to cancel crits, and he's the same cost as an Academy, and still no one will play these TIE Fighters.
Literally, please play.
Please play. Actually, Sabine and Ezra are really good, but like, you shouldn't fly them. There's so many other ships you should fly. So let's keep.
The old intimidation Sabine is now just 2 less points.
Hey, I mean they have roles, but like it turns out A-wings are probably better in every way. Fact. So let's keep it moving to the VCX. We see big points decreases here for Kanan Jarrus and Harrison Doula. We talked earlier about how advanced sensors changed to base size, and they actually got cheaper. It's only 9 points for them. So that could be a big boon for Harrison Doula in the VCX. Kanan doesn't normally see a lot of play, but it'd be cool to see him back on the table with that big gun and 2 force. Oof. We also see one of the first. No, I guess Merle was the first one that the named ship is cheaper than the generic. Namlam, I think, is the other example where we have Chopper cheaper than the Lothal Rebel. Interesting. Rarely seen play. So we'll see. All right, now we're moving on. Actually, I'm going to save that for last. I'll just mention Z95's Kraken Blunt and the Tala all go down. The Tala was way worse than the Scum equivalent, so makes sense. And Blunt's good. Blunt should see more play at 29 points. He was already great, but can't find the board space to find him. But let's get into the real talk, which is Dash Rendar and Lebo both go down in 6 points and 4 points respectively. They lose their gunner slot, so no more Bistan double taps from Dash. I think
It's
I saw one-
unplayable. It's unplayable. We're done. That's it. It's over.
I guess. I did see Dash at one point shoot a 5-dice trick shot and then a 6-dice Jan shot in one round. Just absolutely hucking red dice down the field. And that was too much. It was just almost stapled onto him. Like, unless Bistan was on Han in your list with Dash, you might as well have stapled it to him. So that was straight in for double crew. Lebo, who doesn't have a crew slot originally, just can now get a second illicit slot. You can utilize that new illicit that can get a bunch of calculates. What are some crew combinations we're going to see on this 2400, guys? Got any interesting ideas?
Receptive co-pilot engineer, so that way you can get a evade and focus every. Since you're only shooting once, might as well have evade focus every turn. So or seasoned navigator and anything else, because basically with the outrider title, that stress, as long as you point towards a debris or gas cloud, that stress that you're going to get out of seasoned navigator is null. So
true. Same thing with K2. I think it was Mega Silver mentioning K2, so you can get a stress and a calculate. Outrider, which you might as well scroll down and just find Outrider here, Dion. Yeah, there it is. And then Kanan Jarrus as well. So with Outrider, you can clear the stress from K2, and then you have a force point from Kanan. And then the Outrider title, I missed it, went down 8 points to just 6 now. You essentially can get 2 force and an action, whether that's target lock or barrel or focus or whatever. Could be pretty powerful. Interested to see if what floats to the top on the Dash.
So I want a lot of people, and some people in our local chat have been talking about, like, oh, the Bistan, losing Bistan on Dash is bad now because now he only shoots one. That was his thing. And then I also saw here in the chat saying the same thing, like, what, he's only shooting once. I don't understand that mentality that only because the ship is shooting once it's no longer bad. It's shooting once with 5 or 6 dice consistently. It's got a ton of health. It's got a great ability. It's avoiding, I'm talking about Dash in this case, it's avoiding debris, it's releasing stress, it's got multiple crew slots. I mean, it's got so many different toys. And then it's in a faction where you've got ships like Kyle Katarn, like Jake, like AP5 or Hera that can just toss it so many, basically so much to keep it alive. That shooting once per turn is not as big of a detriment as I think people think it is. I go back to Hera that you said, it went down by 3 points, and then on top of that, advanced sensors went down. I mean, that's been one of my favorite ships for a long time, Hera on the VCX, and it only shoots once, but it hits like a truck when you put like Saw Gerrera's intimidation and all that. Dash does that at a distance without putting itself at risk. Hera does that, like, she's basically getting in the scrum and say, I'm going to take a ton of damage to do this output. Dash can do that at a distance without putting itself in that, in harm's way as much as Hera does. So I think Dash is going to be a serious problem without having to shoot twice to prove it.
Yeah, I mean, the Outrider title alone, it is like crazy powerful. It takes away the obstruction bonus that the defender normally receives. So now Dash is just shooting 5 dice normally, and it strips red tokens, whether that's the enemy target locks, I guess ions technically, right? Strains, depletes, anything like that. So that's pretty interesting. Dash relied on that Bistan for a long time, so. But let's wrap up the rest of these rebels here. We talked about the B-Wing configurations. We see the A-Wing configuration also has moved from 1 point to 0 points in this new trend to get all configurations to 0 points. And standardized. Vectored cannons was a standardized upgrade. And a lot of them have gone down to 0. Not all, though. We see what else here. C-3PO goes down in price. That is an option for Dash as well. Now that you may want to slot in a new crew member, get some calculates. We see Jyn Erso, one of the contributors to the Heratani focus shenanigans, go up in price. I don't know how Jyn stayed at 2 points for so long with her unlimited access at range 3. I guess Rebels never needed evades before. We see K2SO go down in price, which is pretty good. He's got niche uses, but I mean, there's a lot of crew carrying people, and having extra mods is nice. Speaking of extra mods, we have Magba Yarrow going down in price. Always the direct comparison when talking about Zam pricing before, as they had similar get shot at, get target locks. And it just showed how expensive she was at 7 points. So gets a downtick there to just 5.
I think this might also be a good choice on something like Dash, because you're going to have limited number of ships and people are going to be shooting you.
Yeah, but they have to do damage, and Dash normally shoots first, so I never.
True that, you have to be hit. You're right.
I never know what the best place for Magba is. Like a low initiative ghost, like Kanan or Chopper. I don't know. Maybe she'll find a place someday. Also, Bistan now has been decreased in price as we move on to Gunners. With the not seeing Bistan on Dash, I think the next obvious candidate is Han Solo, right? Like, he can mod both attacks. He's I6, so he's going to have that focus most of the time as long as he's not blocked. So, but once again, though, only probably 4 dice with trick shot, not like 5 and 6 dice attacks. So, probably was priced at 2,400. Anyways, we see the other Gunners go down. I mean, who has Gunners left in Rebels? B-Wing, Ghost.
Arcs have him though.
Arc? Okay.
Yep. You said Ghost already, right? You said VCX?
Yeah, Ghost.
K-Wings.
K-Wings. Yep, they still have their thing. So there's a couple places for this Ezra and Han Solo, but they're losing that value, and same with Bistan. They're losing that value with not being on these more premium ships. And we already talked about Blade and Outrider. So what was our total, Dion? What does the Rebels come to for a total points change?
Minus 76. Minus 76. Sell on the Rebellion.
Yeah, that Hera's the talk of the town around the Rebels, but that's a pretty big number. Or a pretty low number. It's negative 76.
Yeah, I mean, it's a large number of points that are no longer costed and charged against the Rebellion.